question. How should I interpret my kids' drawing? So one of the things that I love doing, I'm telling you, I saw lots of itty bitties this week, y'all. So when I say itty bitty, I mean kids kind of between the age of like 3 and like 9. Once kids are like 9 and 10, they're actually like big kids, like especially in America. I don't know where we're feeding our children, but they like look like micro adults. So I had lots of itty bitties, and with younger kids, I will spend time talking to the whole family unit, whoever comes in, and then I will talk to the caregivers by themselves, and I'll put the younger kid in a different room so that I can talk big people stuff, is what I call it, with whoever the caregivers are, so we can talk about what's going on, and we can talk about presenting symptoms and get a lot of the history. And then I walk them through the treatment plan and what we can do about all that stuff. And while I'm doing that, the itty bitties in the other room, most times I will make them draw a picture, and I'll write a picture of, I'll write Emmy for me. And I always tell them, don't draw a picture of me because that's not helpful. Draw a picture of you. And they laugh, ha ha ha. And so they'll draw a picture of themselves, and then they'll draw a picture of whoever their family is, whatever they consider to be their family. And once I'm done talking with the caregivers, I'll go get itty bitty out the room, bring them back, and then we'll actually briefly go through the pictures just to kind of see what their skill level is. And most times I get to see about their fine motor skills. I get to get an understanding of how they conceptually see their family and what a family is and that sort of thing. And depending on the age of the kid, the complexity of the picture will change. And so the younger kids draw lots of stick figures, and then older kids will add more dimensions. And there's actually an art and a science to drawing interpretation. And so I am not an expert in drawing interpretation. I know enough to be dangerous, and which is why I like to do it, because the ratio of size. So when you look at the picture, a lot of times younger kids will have them be really, really big in comparison to other people, and that you can extrapolate from that. If a kid draws a house, or if the house has a chimney, or if there's a tree, there's all these different motifs of how to read into all of that. I'm here to tell y'all, be very, very careful with all that stuff, because again, context matters. And for quite a few kids, just because they draw a house or a chimney or birds or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean some of the things that it could mean. They feel very grounded. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Maybe they just see lots of pictures on YouTube of people making houses with birds and trees, and they're just duplicating that. Who knows? And so I tell parents to be very, very careful about those things. Just take it as a picture, and then use it to help figure out where they are developmentally. But other than that, I just kind of say leave it alone. Most times those pictures are actually perfectly fine. I have a stack, literally, I'll have to bring some on the webinar, a stack like this big from the 10 years of me doing this job, because I just keep them all. Because I mean, what do you do with pictures after you get them? Like, you can't throw them away. That sounds, I don't know, that sounds mean. I'm like, I don't want to throw it away. So yeah, so I just keep them. So I have a big old stack. Most parents don't, and most parents have their own stacks. And so I'll always ask the kid, hey, do you want me to keep it, or do you want to take it home? And you can always see the parents going, oh my God, please don't, I'm not taking that home. I already have enough. And so most times the kid will go, oh, you can keep it. And I go, oh my God, thank you. That's so sweet. And so most times it's not a big deal. Drawings aren't a big deal. The time that they do become a big deal is especially when they're a little bit older, probably 9, 10, 11, 12, when they start drawing problematic stuff. So I've had kids who draw skulls and guns and clowns and Slender Man, who I still don't really know who he is, but apparently that's a thing. I don't know. Friday at Freddy's, Freddy Friday. I don't know, something like that. That's another thing that these kids are watching and seeing. And so, yeah, so it's, I don't know what this stuff is, but sometimes those things come in and the parents will say, what do I do with this? Most times is not alarming. Most times they're reflecting whatever they are interacting with. And so I would encourage families to always pay attention to what they're watching on YouTube. Always pay attention to what they're getting on social media, because a lot of those algorithms, even though you put the parental controls in there, YouTube don't care. They want to get as many clicks and many ad spins as possible. And so there are things that will filter through all sorts of ways. So yeah, so most times they're just reflecting what they're seeing. If you're ever concerned about your kid's safety or how they understand themselves in the universe, or if you suspect that they're depressed or having any other acting out behaviors, the absolute best thing to do is get them to someone that's not you. Because remember, you're a terrible therapist for your own kids, just like you're a terrible therapist for yourself, because it's really hard to be objective and to take the full context. And so if you have a concern that your kiddo is drawing something that is kind of worrisome, get them in to see a child psychologist, a child psychiatrist, a therapist, LCSW, LPC, LMFT. All these folks can help give you some perspective. So this is a super long-winded answer to the question of how should I interpret my kids' drawings? The quick answer is, yeah, don't. Try not to. Thanks, right? So get them, and if you have concerns, get them to a professional so that you can get some context.